Chairman, fellow speakers, to get through life you need to have some skills. As Brian has said, it's often a challenge to handle difficult situations because you can't always get what you want. The interesting thing is, despite what Brian has said, he has always pretty much got what he wanted, despite it all. Think about it. The way life works generally, what you want, you can't have. What you need, you don't get. What you do get, you'd rather not have. That's the way it works. Life is complicated. What you need to do to develop a fundamental life skill is not deciding what you want, but what you mind the least. Let me give you an example. You're on an airplane flight and you're hungry. You've pre-booked your meal because you're a kind of forward planner. You arrive at that moment when you know that everything's all right, because although it's Ryanair, you've chosen the tomato and mozzarella bake with pasta, because there's not much they can do with pasta, is there? It sounds healthy, you're looking forward to it, but it's Ryanair. By the time the cabin steward gets round to you, she will tell you quietly, "I'm sorry, the bake has gone." So what do you do now? You're left with a choice between the rubber chicken in congealed gravy or the kangaroo guts masquerading as beef bourguignon. Disappointment. But you're now in a new mindset. The new mindset is no longer about what you want the most, but about what you mind the least. So, no abstentions. What would you mind the least? Hands up for the rubber chicken, looking suspiciously like stewed rat. But you take the chance. Hands up for the chicken. 1, 2, 3 for the chicken, 4 for the chicken. Anyone for the kangaroo guts, masking as beef bourguignon? Yes, that's probably
well, it's beef bourguignon, that's all right.
A reasonable choice. You see, you're getting into the swing of it already, aren't you? What do you not mind the least? A little example, British actress Joan Collins, who some of you might remember, she's still around, I think, as a matter of fact, married and divorced about 12 times, I think. She said in her autobiography, which I happened to read on a dentist's waiting room, that when she received a marriage proposal from a number of men, which she did frequently, she would sit down and work out who she minded the least. And obviously it helped if you had loads of money, but you see it worked for her. And as a technique, every day, without thinking about it, you will be sorting out in your head what you mind the least in order to get by. So, let's put it this way. Something stupendous happens in the world. Somewhere out in the vastness of the Pacific Ocean, a new landmass emerges from the sea. It's fertile. The climate is perfect, a wonderful place to be. People flock to it to start a new life. It is utopia. You decide to join them. Soon things settle down, and inevitably you need a government, which means that you need to elect a president. Now, we don't do politics in Speakers Club, so I won't stray as I do with this. But in your new land, a presidential candidate emerges that is just the ticket. They are articulate, honest, capable, and far-seeing. Unusual these days. You want that candidate to win the presidency as you've never wanted anything before. 2 days before the election, the candidate is killed in a plane crash. You can no longer have the candidate you wanted. You are left with a choice between 3 other candidates. The first is Donald Trump, who has left America because the pressure got too great and he ran out of that orange stuff that he puts on his face. The second is an enthusiastic young man recently arrived from North Korea by the name of Kim Jong-un. And the third is Greg Wallace, recently retired from MasterChef. Now you have to decide who you mind the least. Now, how do you decide? How do you implement this technique? Well, the best thing to do is to evaluate similarities and differences. That's logical. For example, Donald Trump dyes his hair blonde, apart from the white bits that stick out from the side. And Kim Jong-un has that really funny haircut. so they have similarities. And Greg Wallace is bald. Other similarities? Donald Trump's policy is that everyone should have a gun. Kim Jong-un's policy is that everyone should get one of his ballistic missiles. Greg Wallace says that he has no policy. He's just groping his way through life and hoping for the best. So evaluating the difference as well, I don't know what to say. I'm cautious in saying this after what Brian says, but Trump is barking mad. Kim Jong-un is totally insane, and Greg Wallace has cooked his goose. So how do you make the decision? Which one would you mind the least? Hands up for Donald Trump. Hands up for Kim Jong-un. So it's Greg Wallace.
Yeah.
Careful, girls.
Yeah. That's my home.
So then, you have another choice. What do? Do you stay in this wonderful new utopia, ruled by one of these talented and gifted people? Or do you take a chance and swim to the nearest coral island and probably get eaten by the sharks? Which would you mind the least? It's your choice, and good luck. That's all we can do tonight. Next time we'll discuss how to make good decisions while you are starving to death on your barren coral island, where even a dish of stewed rat or a bowl of kangaroo guts would be welcome. Whichever you mind the least.